a similar story to that, man.
If those of us today sound like the activists of yesterday, it's because we're fighting the same dogs that Robertson and King and others had to fight. The same dogs that felt they had a right to the resources in Africa and a right to the natural resources and oil of the Middle East, and had a right to profile people in England, and had a right to kill people from Lawrence to Amadou Diallo, from Adams in England to Sean Bell. Those dogs are still here. And as long as we've got to face these dogs, we got to face them telling the same story. Post-racial, well, let's look at that. Today, in America, blacks are still double unemployed than whites. Today, 2010. Today, we are still number one in the 9 worst diseases in America. Today, we are disproportionately uninsured with health care. Today, we still are 3 times more likely to be incarcerated, charged with the same crime, same criminal background. Today, we are still 4 times more likely to be turned down for a bank loan. Same credit, same assets, same liabilities as a white counterpart. So we are not post-racial. We are in a better position to get beyond racism, but do not confuse positioning from arrival. When I left the United States night before last and began the flight to London, we got halfway across the Atlantic. We got in a storm. There was turbulence. There was shaking on the plane. An hour and a half later, we had gotten through the storm, and soon I could see the skyline of London. I did not get off the plane because we were in a better position.
How about that?
We did not get off the plane until we had landed at our destination. We are in a better position than we had not arrived until every black has equal opportunity to live. So someone asked me today, well, are you saying there's a race problem in England? Well, you tell me. Tell me whether tonight, if a black and white child born at the same time in the UK tonight will live the same life on an average, will they have the same opportunities, same equal protection under the law, same advantages, same disadvantages. Until you can say that, we are not post-racial. Now, there are those that say we're past race. Now, it's funny, they were the same ones. A few years ago, they said it's too early to deal with race. If you read Martin Luther King's book, 64, they said, he wrote a book, Why We Can't Wait, because they had charged him with premature moving too quickly. So we're either too early or too late. So somebody tell me where in history the oppressor ever said this is the time to deal with this. It is never on the calendar of the powerful and the rulers to deal with your liberation. You must put it on the calendar. And if you think that you can get there by befriending your way to liberation, or by cozying up to liberation, and by being friendly and people will like you into making you equal, there's nowhere in recorded history that's the case. You can't cocktail your body into equality. not long ago, a self-described black conservative in the States. And I say self-described because one of the reasons I can't understand black conservatives is they have nothing to conserve. And he told me, he said, Sharpton, I do not agree with civil rights. I don't agree with the mobilizations and the registered voters and the marching and the protests. I don't agree with all of that. All this civil rights stuff didn't make me. He says, I made it on my own merit. He said, look at my resume. I went to the right schools. I was a member of the right fraternity. I engaged in the right sororities. I ran in the right circles. Read my resume. Civil rights didn't write my resume. I told him, you're right. Civil rights did not write your resume. Civil rights made somebody read your resume.
How about that? How about that? That's a step line.
You are not the first qualified Negro in America. We've always had blacks qualified. It took movements for your qualifications to be considered. We were qualified to play baseball in America before Jackie Robinson. America was not mature enough to let us play. And we were qualified to be president before Barack Obama. We had to wait for America to do it. Therefore, is that you must be engaged in a protracted, disciplined, determined struggle, that you will settle for nothing less than what is your equal parts in any other segment of society. It is not an option because either you participate or your lack of participation is supporting the opposition. You have a general election coming in May. Question is whether you're going to vote for yourself or let your non-vote be registered as a vote for the opposition to yourself. Because everybody that doesn't vote is voting for the other side because they get the benefit of your not voting and one vote they'll bring out, so they got two votes for your one. Well, I don't think politics solves everything, Reverend. It doesn't. But what it does solve, we need. If you are in a pond drowning and you are 8 feet down, you do not tell people, bring me all the way out or let me drown. If somebody says, try to stick for 4 feet, you grab that, get to the 4 feet and grab something else. But you do not sit there with an all or none end goal, because they will let you drown. What you can get out of the electoral process, you get that. And this elitist attitude that you've got to have everything on the table shows that you are not serious, nor do you understand the suffering of our people. I believe ivory tower revolutionaries are just as useless as black conservatives. You know, I grew up a preacher, and I decided a long time ago that I was not going to wait for pie in the sky when I die. I wanted some sound on the ground while I was around. Well, I have to say to those that want to dream of a utopian world and don't want to do the work here every day to build that in a nut and bolt way. This country has a real political divide. There's a real fight between the conservatives and the liberals. And guess what? In the middle of that, a mobilized and organized